It's time to mind your business with me, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in to find out how to mind your business with BEDC, special guest entrepreneurs, industry experts, and more. Brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda business starts here. Welcome to Mind Your Business.
Thank you.
I am your host, Jamillah Lodge, and you are Dr. Adriene Berkeley.
Yes.
Founder of PsyNeu.
Yes.
So I'm excited to talk to you, right?
Okay.
Before we get started, though, please just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Oh my gosh, I always get nervous answering that question.
You do?
I never know how to answer it. Gosh, where do I start? I'm a psychologist, a neuroscientist. I'm a mother to a dog.
Okay. What's your dog's name?
Yeah, his name is Mako.
Okay.
My little 4-year-old miniature dachshund.
Oh,
It's
cute.
my baby, birthed to myself. Yeah, what about me? Oh my gosh, I never know how to answer that question.
So, okay, talk about life before you were Dr. Berkeley.
Gosh. Life before Dr.
Yeah.
Berkeley.
Like, did you always know you wanted to go into psychology?
Yes and no.
Okay.
So when I was 12, I had meningitis for 6 months. So no family history. It literally came out of the blue. One night I had gone to bed. I woke up the next morning and I was on my deathbed.
What?
Yeah. Literally, that's exactly how it happened.
Oh, my God.
Yeah. So during that time frame, my behavior changed. So I'm usually quite quiet and to the masses.
Right.
And in the ICU, I would be screaming at nurses. I wasn't responding to my parents' voices.
Oh, wow.
It completely disrupted who I was. And so from that point, I was always like, if the brain gets disrupted, it literally can change your entire life. So I always had a bit of a fascination of behavior and mental health, neurology. It's kind of like, it happened to me in the split second, and I was completely different.
Right.
So I didn't always know where my path would lead me. I just always had
We're fascinated
interest.
with that. Yeah.
I was like, I mean, I'm one of those people that watch serial killer documentaries to go to sleep. So that was also really nice. I'm definitely one of those people.
Yeah.
So in high school, still wasn't sure. And then my school counselor was basically like, you got to apply to uni. And I was like, well, what do I like? What can I tolerate?
Yeah.
And I had a psychology class next. And I was like, okay, I'll just do that.
Yeah.
And when I went to uni, I was still like, oh, I'm not sure, maybe medicine. And then I fell in love with neuroscience. And then the rest was history. I just followed my path.
So it sounds like it was very fortuitous, right?
Yeah.
Like even though it seems like it wasn't connected, but it seems that it was.
Yeah, very much.
Know?
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you for sharing
You're
that.
welcome. I tried to run from it, and then it was
like, no, come on over here. This
like,
is where you're supposed to be. So PsyNeu.
Yes.
Now this is your own thing.
Yes.
Did you ever work for anyone else, or did you come out of university saying, this is what I'm going to do?
Yeah, so absolutely not. Entrepreneurship was never in my plan.
Okay.
Definitely not. The type of specialty that I have, neuropsychiatry, I'm supposed to be based in a hospital.
Right.
So I always knew, even in training, they would have private practice seminars. I was like, I'm not going to that. What's the point?
Yeah.
No point. So I worked at hospitals in the UK, and then I came back, joined a private practice, and this was the time of the pandemic.
Yes.
So things shifted, and I had no choice. I had to go out on my own. So I always say some people choose entrepreneurship.
Yeah.
And I feel like other people, entrepreneurship calls them.
Yeah.
I felt at the beginning that I was pushed and shoved into entrepreneurship.
Right.
So I was angry for a long time.
You're like, I don't want to do this.
I want to do this. I know nothing about business. What am I supposed to do?
You should have took them workshops.
It's like, what is the point? I was so angry, and I was like, I have to figure all these things out by myself. I didn't know the inner workings of insurance and all the hurdles. And for a very long time, at the beginning, you can't pay yourself. It's a lot of investment. I had finally come home. It's like finally a paycheck.
Right. And then you're like, no.
Now I'm starting back at scratch after a decade of schooling. And eating pasta and noodles every day.
Yeah.
And I felt like, wow, here I go again. So for a long time, I was like, ugh, hate it here.
Right.
I love it now.
No, yeah, I'm so happy to hear you say that.
Yes.
So why do you love it now? What changed?
It's gonna sound so cheesy, but making an impact. So when I first came, a lot of people, they were like, what's neuroscience? They were like, the Jimmy Neutron cartoon character.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so the brain to me is everything. It controls everything. It influences everything. How can I make it so that people understand that mental health and brain health are one and the same? So just me doing my little brain facts, people learning a little bit more. I'll be honest, I didn't think anyone was really paying attention.
Yeah.
And then I have a few people be like, oh, I didn't know about multitasking. That's a myth. Or these sort of myths about brain health in terms of being right brain or left brain.
Right.
Like that's not a thing.
Yeah.
And so it's been the impact that has made it more rewarding.
That's not a thing?
No, it's not a thing. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, right brain, left brain. You use your brain. There's myths like you only use 10% of your brain. False. Yeah.
Wow.
It's so much
So
misinformation.
TikTok has been lying to me.
Yeah.
The tests I've been taking, false.
Yeah, false.
Well, look at here. I learned something today. What?
Yeah. So
Really?
It's been the impact. It's like, oh, wow, I can actually make a difference. Huh. Who knew? Yeah.
And who knew that I wanted to make a difference?
Exactly.
So talk to me a little bit more about the difference that you're making. I know the education and helping people like myself to understand there's no left and right.
Yeah.
Okay, get that. What other kind of things are like driving or fueling your passion for PsyNeu?
Oh my gosh, there are, so the field is actually quite large here. But a lot of people don't know that. But there are a few of us who have finished our training around the same time, and we've all come back, and we're making it more of a conversation.
Okay.
It's intertwined in so many different conversations. We're all doing our part in sort of saying, hey, this is normal. We all experience it. This is what it can look like. This is how it affects us, whether it's at work, traumas, brain health, mental health. Like, there's a whole spectrum of us. And it's been really nice to have sort of that collaboration, even though we worked independently.
Yeah.
We collaborate, and there's just a broader community now of understanding with individuals. So that helps drive me to continue with PsyNeu.
Yeah.
Because in entrepreneurship, and we've all expressed this to each other, it's really isolating. It's very lonely. And in this field, it's very lonely. So particularly in mental health, everyone works on their own.
Yeah.
And there's no sort of multidisciplinary nature, especially here.
Yeah.
So having that pushes me to do my part, and seeing them pushes me to do my part with PsyNeu. And we're kind of like this little mental health family.
Oh, that is very cool.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't have thought that, right? Because Bermuda is small. So you think, like, for me, I'm like, neuroscience, oh, yeah, you're the only one.
Yeah.
But again, I guess if you define what that means, like you said, there are different people doing different things and focusing on different things. So talk to me about what PsyNeu focuses on.
So PsyNeu, so my specialization is neuropsychiatry, which sounds super fancy. It's just like, I love the mind and brain. That's literally what it means. So I'm clinically trained to work therapeutically with people who have neurological conditions, and they also have mental health conditions as a result of that, or vice versa.
Okay.
So it could be someone who's had a stroke or a brain injury, and they may have personality changes, trauma changes, mood changes. I can work with that. Working with kids or adults with ADHD. So a lot of the times you get a diagnosis, but there's no now what. I'm the now what person.
Thank goodness.
Yeah. So at first I was doing a lot of sort of testing, but I realized that's great, but I want to work with people. So they have this information. They may have had a brain injury, or they're having difficulties with their mood. Now what? What can we do to help them achieve as much well-being as possible? That's our area of focus.
Okay.
Yeah.
So tell me, I have a child with dyslexia.
Yes.
And so we're always trying to figure out how. And you participated in the Wave of Opportunity pitch competition.
Yes.
And you won.
Yes.
Congratulations. So $25,000 later. And I was like, yes. Because what she's speaking to me.
Yeah.
So for parents or people who either have a loved one who is dyslexic or has dyslexia, you talked about like retraining the brain and connect. Please share a little bit more about that.
So our program is called NeuPathways, and the best way I like to describe it, it's like CrossFit for the brain.
Okay.
So over a 3-month period, we kind of focus on targeting our cognition. So everything that we do, from, I think I mentioned this in my pitch, but relaxing, TikToking, paying bills, being able to drive, relies heavily on cognition. The brain rules everything. So those with learning differences or diagnoses, they have some cognitive weaknesses. So we're really focusing on strengthening those cognitive weaknesses and enhancing the ones they're really good at already, so that they have the best chance at learning and behavior and personality and all those things. So we're really tackling the foundation versus sort of a Band-Aid approach, if that, sort of only working with surface level. We're actually getting to training your brain so that it functions better to be able to support and do anything else.
How did you get there? How did you figure that out?
Gosh. So, in honesty, I have been sitting on this idea from the day I started PsyNeu for a long time. And I was like, there's a lot of fear and self-doubt.
Yeah.
And I was like, it's not really a thing. And the more I started to see people in practice, I realized cognition really is everything. Like, there has to be a way to help, particularly these kids with learning differences, to strengthen and to be able to help them to succeed as much as possible to reach their dreams. That's literally what every parent wants. So for a while, I was like, I do have some software. Maybe I could. And I just sat on it. It was a lot of self-doubt for a long time. And then it actually got me to the application. I saw the email, and then I was like, well, nobody really cares about mental health and education. So I was like,
Wrong.
And then I see it actually said on the application, encouraged to apply. I was like, So I sat on it for a little bit. I was like, okay, no, I'm just going to do it. And then I was like, okay, if I hear back, great. If I don't, fair enough.
Right. At least you entered.
At least I entered. I expected not to hear back.
Why?
I know, because of me. It's a lot of, one of the things I've learned that I have to work on and have been working on is the belief in myself.
Right.
Yeah, so I'm very, very hard on myself.
Yeah.
I haven't celebrated myself for achievements. It's almost like, oh, well, you did it, you should have won, or you should achieve these things. So it never feels like celebration. It's like, well, you should have. Like,
well, congratulations on winning the 20.
Thank you.
You should, because there were 60-something applications.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So even just to get through to the finals was a huge achievement. Of
course.
But then to go and take the prize away, that means that, yeah, you believe in yourself, but others believe in what the work that you're doing. And for me, I think that's huge testament.
100%.
You know what I mean? It can help to continue to push you forward.
Yes.
And I'm so pleased that you did, because I didn't know about PsyNeu.
Yeah.
And I know that I need it. So I'm like, come on now. I think it's a great opportunity for us to be introduced to new entrepreneurs, new products, etc. So with the $25,000 winnings, do you have plans for that? Like, what are you going to use those funds for to make PsyNeu better?
So the plans are to gather the software from the company, because it's like a game-like format. That's how we kind of engage the kids. So being able to get that in bundles and growing the team a bit. So it's just me.
Yeah.
So in addition to this, I'm trying to be everyone's therapist at the same time. And so it was hard trying to, I can't be two places at once, and I have tried, and it doesn't work.
Haven't figured that one out yet.
I haven't yet. And so when I was doing the pilot, I had some students from Bermuda College or from overseas who were studying psychology or neuroscience, and they just want hands-on experience. And I was like, well, this is perfect. It's part-time. They're interested. I can train them up to help me. And then we could take it from there. We can grow into schools, the government if possible. So that is where the funds will go, to actually developing and getting the technology, and then being able to apply with students to be able to help actually roll out the program.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah. And I know Workforce Development has an apprenticeship program.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
So like
Like,
yes.
hey.
So they pay, but you get the training and hands-on. So that could be an opportunity as
amazing,
well for you.
Actually.
Yeah.
Idea.
See now?
Got it.
Yeah. So I'm excited for this, for you and for me, selfishly. But let's talk a little bit about the collaboration that you mentioned early on with the other mental health professionals. So did that happen organically? Like, what was the process? How did you come together like that? Because I think it's hugely important.
It is. So we recognize Bermuda is very much, this is my slice of pie.
Yes.
So a few of my closest colleagues, we trained in the UK. And so in the UK, there's a very heavy sense of multidisciplinary team. So they used to call me the duckling in the UK because I'd follow my psychiatrists around everywhere. We had social workers, OTs, nurses, like we had a team. Coming back here is not like that at all. You're kind of trying to work together, and then, you know, if someone sends you a referral, you send a response back, they're like, why are you responding back? And I'm like, because you referred. That's how we do it. So we connected on that. We were fresh out of school. We want to make a difference, as green as we were. And we're coming back home, but there was no sense of, I mean, for lack of a better word, sistership. We were just kind of out on our own. And that was really hard. I know some of my colleagues, entrepreneurship was always in their plan. Unlike me, that was not. So I found it very hard to go into this plan that I didn't plan for alone. So having that community, we just stuck because of that. We're just like, okay, like this is what we can do. This is your area. This is your area. This is how we can help each other. Do you need a referral? What do you need to do? We kind of brainstormed a lot. And just develop friendships from that, truthfully.
I love that.
Yeah,
I love
it's
that.
been nice.
Because like you said, it can be very isolating, especially when you're starting your own business. And for you, you were like, I did not want to do this.
No.
I wanted to work for somebody, have a steady paycheck, and now look.
And skedaddle. Like, that's all I want. But again, so there's this idea that it's just very much my slice of pie, and there's more than enough work for everybody. Everyone has their niche. And so we can share, we can collaborate. So I like that there's a whole, I'm going to say generation, but a whole bunch of us that are coming up, and it's like we can work together. It's not competition.
Correct.
We don't have to compete.
No.
Because there's a lot here to do.
And we all need, you're right.
Yeah,
there's a lot. We all need a little help.
Yes.
And I think now it's okay to say that, whereas before maybe there was a stigma, like at my age growing up, they're like, oh, she crazy.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Whereas now they're like, my therapist said that
I love it.
I should not punch you in the face.
Yes.
She said that I should work on balancing.
I love it. And so in terms of mentioning before impact, different, it's that, you know, I see on social media some of my clients are reposting my content and be like, she definitely said this to me, and it's just like we're coming out, we're talking about it. It's okay. Everyone's like, I want to go to therapy.
Yes.
I'm like, yeah, come on, it's fun.
Join in.
Self-awareness is super fun. And so it's been really nice. Yeah,
I love
great
that.
Actually.
So okay. It sounds to me like you provide services to different, I guess, targets, right? So can you talk a little bit about those targets and how people, if they're interested, should reach out and follow up?
Sure. So PsyNeu means psychology and neuroscience. So one branch is the neuroscience. That's the, working with people with neurological issues, consulting with psychiatrists or GPs on the island. The other branch is psychology. So I have people who come in who want to discuss their relationship issues or just want to know why they are the way that they are and how can they improve in relationships or at work or just stress management. So I see people who, kids from 8 all the way up until my oldest client was 99.
Wow.
So I see the whole spectrum, which I really like because I'm the kind of person, if I was doing the same thing every day, I'd pluck my eyes out. Yeah, it would. I just... and so I also do assessments in terms of people need psychological assessments for any reason, or they need cognitive assessments. They just need to know how their baseline of their brain functioning. I don't do the more in-depth ones anymore, just because it takes up a lot of time, and I want to work therapeutically with people. But if you want a baseline functioning of how your brain is and why it is the way that it is and what we can do about it, then I do that as well.
So you can tell me why I'm crazy.
Yeah, of course. And then we can help you get better.
Yes. Okay. And so how do you do this? Do you have a space, a practice? Like, where does all the magic happen?
So I do have an office on Front Street. The entrance is on Queen Street near the Bermuda bookstore.
Yes.
So there's a blue gate.
Okay.
I'm just up those steps.
Nice. Okay.
So I call it my little box. I've been in the little box for now 3 years. So that's where we are.
Okay.
Just to come in and have a nice view of the water, have a chocolate bowl.
Yeah.
That I'm very proud of.
Yes. Then you let it out.
Yes. Yeah, and it's really nice. So I have a chair and I have a couch, and I let people choose where they want to sit, and it just warms my heart because I always have a blanket. Some people whip out the blanket
and they get
and they're
right
like,
in.
okay, chocolate bowl, and I'm like, all right, let's do this. Like, come on, what?
It's gonna be good.
It's really not. It's some of my clients are like, I have been waiting to see you. Oh my gosh, that's on Dish. And
right.
I just feel like a girlfriend. I'm like, okay, what is it? How can I help?
I love it.
It's so great.
I love it. I think the fact that you enjoy what you do, you can see it, you can feel it, and I'm sure that helps, and that your clients
100%.
feel that too, and it makes the process less daunting.
Yeah, and I'm one of these people that I like to see results. Which is why I can work in certain areas in the field. I have to see progress in some sort of way. So it makes me want to make sure I'm at my best so that I see some sort of results in them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I love that.
Yeah.
So now, people are going to be like, I need to book an appointment.
Yes.
How do they do that?
So you can self-refer or have your GP refer. So we actually have online booking, which works out really well. So they can go on my Instagram, PsyNeu.bda, or they can email me, drberkeley@PsyNeu.bm. They could call me, and they could just book an appointment. Most people, they literally just go on the online profile and they book.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
A lot of people have told me they don't like talking to people on the phone. And so I was like, online
That's
booking.
the new age, right?
Yeah,
like people are like, do not call. It's so crazy. You're looking at your cell phone and it starts ringing and you're like, what is that sound?
Exactly. Why are you calling me? That's
Why
literally
you just
it.
text me?
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. It's a completely different world, but it's very true.
It's perfect. And it's just me. So if I am with someone, I can't pick up the phone. So it makes it easy having that technology piece in terms of being just a functioning business. So online booking.
The other thing I want to ask you about is insurance, right? Because, of course, this costs, right?
Absolutely,
to deliver the services, both the psychological and neurological services. How do you utilize insurance? Can people use insurance to cover it?
Absolutely, they can. We are covered by all major insurers, private insurers, so that's super great. We love that. I am definitely a champion on making sure insurance does their part. Don't want to burn too many bridges, but sometimes it really grinds my gears seeing these pamphlets of insurance companies are like, wellness is amazing. Yeah. And I'm just like, coverage has not moved the needle. So who are you talking to?
Right.
And so I'm happy that we have insurance coverage. It would be nice if this could move the needle now, not in just terms of more coverage, they're covering more benefits. The insurance companies dictate a lot. So as the professionals, it's really challenging for us if we're like, actually, this person needs to be seen twice a week, and this is what it looks like, and the insurance company dictates whether we can do that or not. Yeah, it's very limited. I mean, there are still some packages where it's only 6 sessions are covered, and even if you went once a month, that's 6 months, and it's a lot of push and pull. And it would be nice if the clinicians had more of a say to get effective coverage, because cost is such a barrier. Right.
It can be for a lot of people. And like you said, with regards to results, and so in my mind, I'm thinking, you're getting this support, you're going to therapy. So what you would have done that could have been detrimental, which may land you in or someone else in the hospital.
Yeah. Exactly.
This is preventative care here.
Exactly.
So they need to get on board.
This is why I'm so keen on making sure that people understand mental health is brain health.
Yes.
Because they're one and the same. And for if you say brain health, then it's like, okay, cool, we can take this more seriously. Maybe we can get more coverage. And I feel like that's also happening in the general public, whereas people are understanding that mental health is brain health. So now they're more keen to reach out and get support and ask about their coverage and see someone. So I'm like, this is your brain. You want to make sure you don't have dementia?
Yes.
This is it.
Right.
Mental health. And so getting that messaging out, a lot of people are like, oh, this is like mental health is a thing. It's serious.
Yes.
And it's not just an exclusive club for one or two people.
Right.
Everyone has it.
Right.
We have COVID to thank a lot for that. A lot of people were able to identify, oh, mental health, that's a thing. And it's like,
yeah, it is a thing.
It's terrible, but it was a blessing in that way. We have far to go, but we have come very far. And COVID was a major player, in my opinion.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we just need the insurers to jump on board and understand, because like you said,
it's like a little
dementia,
more.
if you're doing those cognitive exercises and you're understanding what you can do to exercise your brain, if you will, and that can prolong or prevent, because there are medical expenses associated with managing dementia or Alzheimer's and all of that.
And it's such a huge concern in our country, and it's like, okay, a lot of people are always asking, how can I make sure I protect my brain from aging in this way? And the evidence is very clear. It's making sure you take care of your mental health, your stress management, of course, what you eat and everything, exercise, but making sure you're still social, you're not isolating, making sure, your depression and anxiety is managed. And so if we're not doing that, then you're more at risk.
Yeah, you're more at risk.
So if the community is serious about some of these conditions, then we have to be serious about mental health at the same time.
Yeah. Listen, what she said.
Yeah. Twice.
So, are you the only kind of psychiatrist?
So,
is that how you would phrase it? Am I saying that right?
Yeah. So so each psychologist on island, they share similarities, but I specialize in neuropsychiatry. So I'm a neuroscientist and a psychologist.
Yes.
Not to be confused with neuropsychologist or gosh, I heard so many different other titles. They're very close in nature. So I have worked in neuropsychology, but I'm not a neuropsychologist.
Got you.
Yeah, I'm a psychologist specializing in neuropsychiatry.
Got you.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at you going like, you are 16, so how many years? Like, how?
It was a decade.
Yeah.
A decade.
You look good, girl.
Goodness. I left the island at 17. I was turning 18 and just stayed in school forever. Shout out to my mom and dad. Yeah. But just kept going.
Yeah, you just kept going. But to our benefit, I think.
Yeah.
And that you came back to Bermuda.
It's home.
To provide this type of support, I think is phenomenal, because you're right. We need it. I think we all suffer from this need from having that support.
100%.
So welcome home, and thank you very much.
Thank you.
For establishing your business. So for you, when you think about PsyNeu,
yes,
what you're currently doing now,
yes,
even though you came into it kicking and screaming,
I did.
Looks like you're loving it now.
I do.
What do you want it to be? Like, when it's full grown and you're doing all the things, what does that look like for you?
I used to get so much anxiety over this question because I didn't know for a long time. I was just trying to survive.
Yeah.
Like I said, kicking and screaming. So I was like, don't ask me these questions. I don't know. I'm just trying to make it.
Eat.
I'm just trying to make it and buy groceries, okay? Milk is expensive.
It is.
I just want to survive. Now thinking of it, sure, I could have other psychologists and therapists on board. But that's not really where my heart is. I would love to have a psychiatrist a Black female psychiatrist. We don't have one on island.
Okay.
That would be chef's kiss. I've actually even looked into it. And this was one of my challenges with entrepreneurship. I couldn't afford to bring down a psychologist full-time, a psychiatrist full-time. And I thought, okay, maybe we could do virtual, but there are limitations on that, so I can't do that either. But that would be the dream. And again, creating this multidisciplinary team, a sort of a pathway people can come see a dietitian, an OT, a holistic therapist. They can get what they need, what you see overseas in a hub. Right now, clients, they either don't know I exist or don't know other services exist, or they're having to go here, and then they're going here, and then they're going here, and there's appointments on top of appointments, and it's very stressful. It's stressful for me hearing about it. I can only imagine being in the situation. So some sort of pathway, a hub, a wellness hub, if you will.
Yeah.
That would be the dream.
I love that.
Yeah.
I feel like we can help you do that.
That's what I want. I need it. I love that.
I love it because when you think, like, there are, medical, like, doctors, they have groups, right? So I'm like, why can't you have, like, a mental health group where you have all of this?
That would be, and there's still a lot that I don't know. I don't know how people have gone about that. I'm thinking I have to have the cash on hand to be able to bring someone down and be able to support them for 6 months. So I don't know how people have done in the past. And again, it's difficult to learn from mentors because this is my slice of pie. You're viewed as competition. Yeah. So us the newer generation, we're kind of just having to figure this out on our own, and it's really challenging because we just don't know. When we ask for help, they're like, no, you're going to take away from our livelihood. It's like, no, we're not.
No, I know.
There's so
That's
much.
the old way of thinking.
The old way. There's so much to do here.
Yes, there is. So, and so much that is needed. And I think that is an excellent idea. It's an excellent goal to have. And of course, we would love to assist you to achieve.
It's the dream.
Yeah, because I think it really is needed. You know?
And then with NeuPathways, getting it in schools, that's how I always envisioned it. So kind of those would be the two major things. Okay,
let's make this happen. I mean, look, they're doing signature schools, so why can't, they're rehauling the whole thing, so why can't we figure out a way to add this to it?
It'd be amazing.
Girl, yes. Look, I will be like, we were part of the journey. We were there at the start. No, it's been a joy. I've really enjoyed our conversation.
Thank you.
I appreciate you coming and sharing a little bit about what it is that you're doing.
Thank you.
Reintroducing yourself to people. And just as a reminder, let them know how to contact you.
So again, you can reach me on my email, drberkeley@psyneu.bm. It's PSYNEU.bm. And my contact number is 531-4879.
And do you have a website?
I do, www.psyneu.bm.
Okay. Well, thank you so much, Dr. Berkeley. I've enjoyed minding your business.
Thank you.
Your business.
Thank you.
And just remember, if you don't mind your business, who will?
Exactly.
Thanks for tuning in to Mind Your Business with me, your host, Jamillah Lodge. Tune in next week, Thursday at 4 p.m. because if you don't mind your business, who will? Mind Your Business is brought to you by BEDC. Bermuda Business starts here.